Hey everybody, welcome back to my layout. This will be a layout update for June 2016. Kind of a quick one this month. I haven't got a whole lot done down here, but I did start working, so that's kind of a milestone. No new stuff to show you guys, haven't got anything new in over the last month. Pretty much the only news down here is that I just started some of the rough-in stuff so that I can start formal benchwork construction down here. So I'll just quickly show you what I've been up to. You can see they got the laser level out there. Starting to play around with what the actual layout height is going to be. This will be the upper height because both layouts will be separated by about 7 inches or so in order to stack the reverse loops. So what you can see there on the wall, the laser level is set up at, that's 53 inches to the top of the rail. And just for comparison, you can see here in the foreground, this Fremo module, that's 42 inches rail height. So I'm kind of going to go with something a little bit higher so that it's almost at your chest height. And I think that's going to be where I land as far as where I want the exact height of the layout to be. So I just used a couple cheap shelf brackets to mock up one of my old dioramas here, just to kind of get a feel for how high that's going to be. And for me, that works out to roughly, if I was to put my arm straight out like this, that's gives me just enough kind of room so I don't have to strain to reach over anything. And I could easily reach over the all the bench work and everything without knocking over trains or having to stand on something to get higher. Here's a few Tupperwares stacked on end just so you can get an idea of how tall that will be. And this, I didn't just make this number up. This comes from reading Lance Mindheim's blog, and he recommends kind of like an armpit height for the like the ultimate, what's the perfect height for a layout. And I think he's right, because if you use the Fremo, for example, you're always crouching over, bending down, or wanting to sit on something when you want to look close at track level and watch a train go by. So having it up high just kind of takes that out, and it's not like so high that you can't reach over and still take things off the layout and 050 if you have to, but it's just kind of that sweet spot. So I think this is like where I'm gonna go for this height. My friend's layout, the former Stanford and Grimsby sub there, his was 48, and we said the same thing. Like, it could be just a bit higher, I think would be perfect. And when he rebuilds his second layout, he's going to do something like this height, similar to what I'm doing here. So probably 53 inches for the CN side, and somewhere around 46, 48 for the CP side, likely, is what I'm going to do. And so the main thing I've been working on is just getting some plugs roughed in. So I have some plug-ins around the center of the staircase for construction power, because I want to plug in my table saw and have everything, all the power I need down here. So I'm adding a circuit to the to our house panel. It'll be 5 plugs in total, and I'm just wiring it myself down here. I'm almost done roughing it in, and then I just got to put the plugs in, and it'll be done and ready to tie into the panel. And I'm wiring them in as if they'd be permanent, because I think I'll be able to use them even after I'm done construction. So it's a 15 amp circuit. It should be more than enough to power all the tools and my stereo and everything else that I have going while I'm working down here. Then in the future, for my workbench, I'll probably add a different circuit and have the airbrush booth tied into that and everything else. That's pretty much it, guys. I'm going to get these plugs wired up, and that's going to give me the construction power I'll need. I'll bring my tools down here, get the table saw set up, and start on doing a little bit of bench work. I've kind of put my idea of doing all the lighting first on hold, just because I'm struggling to decide on which type of lighting I should buy, which method I should go with. There's just so many options out there, and I feel like I'm just kind of getting bogged down by it. So I'm just going to go ahead and start doing some bench work, because I know I can do that, and kind of feel like I'm getting a little momentum going, and then maybe that'll give me some more motivation to spend more time into looking into the layout lighting. Kind of end here on a safety note. Put my safety hat on here for a second, but if you are doing your own wiring, make sure that you have someone qualified come and look at it and inspect your work, and make sure you're not breaking any building code rules, because those code rules are in there for a reason. Most building codes and electrical codes, you can find them online, or you can take out a book from the library, or whatever you need to do to find out what the rules are in the area where you live. Luckily, my little brother, he's an electrician, so he's always giving me a hard time about my wiring, making sure everything is up to par and safe. So just something to be aware of when you're doing your own layout wiring, because a lot of us do, especially lighting. It's 120 volt as well, so same deal, just make sure you're installing it safely and using the right materials. Like myself personally, I won't be taking out a development permit to build my layout in my basement. I don't think many other people do. So you won't have the city or town in your municipality building inspectors coming to look at your work and make sure that it's safe. So make sure if you're doing your own wiring, get a buddy who's an electrician or an in-law or whoever to come look at it. Just make sure you've done it correctly, because it could be a fire hazard potentially, especially when you're doing plugs or lighting, because it's 120 volts. So the track power, not so much, it's low voltage, but still you want to make sure you're doing it correctly, because you really don't want to risk a fire or something. And on a note of fire, it doesn't hurt to have a fire extinguisher down in your layout room either. So that was one of the first things I did, was put a fire extinguisher down here just in case something happens while I'm working. It could be the difference between saving your house and a complete write-off. So just a little safety note there, guys, before we go. That'll wrap up this month's layout update. Hopefully next month I'll be showing you guys some bench work. So that'll do it for this layout update. Thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.